You want to fight, bro?
Yeah, the Fight Bros podcast. Three, two, one.
What's up, Fight Bros podcast listeners? We're here with podcast number 15. We're here on November 17th, 2019. Got a good show for you today. Usually didn't think there would be a lot to talk about just because there hasn't been too good of fights lately, but hey man, UFC, they keep these rumors and all kinds of stuff happening, man.
Oh, I agree completely. So yeah, this is definitely not going to be much of a Fight Night 164 recap
Yeah,
of a
but
podcast.
also I forgot. As always, I'm Marcus Burks, and this is
Albert Walters.
Yeah.
Hey, happy to be here. So back on to Fight Night 164. It was that's all you could say about it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like we talked about this before. UFC with that ESPN deal, they're having to put out so many fighting. They're having to put out ESPN cards, fight night cards, and do pay-per-views. So stuff's just kind of thinning out.
Yeah. Yeah, like we're not having the best of nights, and
Yeah.
so the main event was Blachowicz versus Souza.
Yep.
Souza.
Jacare Souza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the highlights looked good, but it wasn't that good of a fight.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, man. I fell asleep on this one. I'm a lightweight, but of everything I read this morning, just looking at the results, a lot of people thought that this was one of the worst fights since one of the most boring fights since Derek Lewis versus Francis Ngannou.
Yeah.
That's a tough sell, man, because Francis Ngannou versus Derek Lewis was pretty bad. I don't think you could beat that.
I don't think you could, because I was watching highlight videos and Blachowicz was like giving it to
Blachowicz is a
Jacare.
beast, man.
Yeah, and so like he was getting so. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I didn't get to watch the fight, but from the highlights, Blachowicz was just blowing him out of the water. So
Yeah, and I mean, we know he's got a little bit of knockout power. He knocked out Rockhold. I mean, it was going to be tough to put away Souza anyways. Like,
yeah, I mean he was crushing him. So so Blachowicz wound up winning last night against Souza.
yeah, I really don't know what will be next for Blachowicz because, I mean, I guess you could argue he could fight Corey Anderson
That
because
wouldn't be a bad fight.
supposedly John Jones is going to be fighting Dominic Reyes, which we'll get into later in the podcast.
Yeah.
But Corey Anderson already beat Blachowicz
Yeah,
by
so,
decision.
yeah.
So,
Well, so I mean, Corey Anderson right now, he's trying to get a name for himself again because the
Yeah.
UFC doesn't want to give him this fight against Jones, and
Yeah.
Jones is wanting Reyes anyways. And so if Corey Anderson can come out, blow Blachowicz out of the water, then he can say, "Look, I'm tired of this. Give me Jones."
I think that makes sense. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, like, I hate for Corey to have to do that because I feel like he doesn't need to do that.
I don't think he deserves
I think
that.
he already deserves the fight against Jones. But if that's realistically, I don't see anything else being next for Blachowicz except for something like that because
And I don't see
Blachowicz
anything
is-
next for Anderson either.
yeah, because Blachowicz was number 4, I think. So he's obviously getting close to that next in line for a title shot. So
Yeah.
he's got to get a
Yeah.
contender next.
Man, it'd be funny if they gave the title shot to Blachowicz
Oh, that
over Anderson. That would be messed
Yeah,
up.
that could not sell. Jones versus Blachowicz would not sell. It would have to be co-main event or something.
And a fight like that does not deserve to be
Yeah.
co-main. Well, yeah, so as far as Souza, I don't know what's next for him either.
Yeah, dude, it's tough because, you know, he was taking some losses there at 185. I think his last win was against Chris Weidman at 185.
I think.
And then now he moved up to light heavyweight. I just don't know what's next. I mean, he acted like he was going to retire like 2 fights ago, so...
Yeah, I think he's getting close to it now.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what's next for him. But let's get next to the co-main event. We got Shogun Rua versus Paul Craig. I watched a little bit of this one. This was a pretty good fight. And I mean, it ended up in a draw. I mean, these two guys were pretty evenly matched. I mean, the legend Shogun Rua. I mean, that first round, Paul Craig messed him up pretty bad. Shogun Rua's face was pretty messed up. So obviously, round 1 went to Paul Craig. Round 2, Shogun Rua came back, got that round 3. That's where the draw was decided. Pretty evenly matched, and I believe draw was a good decision. I know on Global Scorecard they ended up giving a little bit of advantage to Shogun Rua, so some people were hollering robbery, but I just think that first round where he got completely like dominated in that first round, that's really what caused that draw.
Yeah. Well, I mean, draws are definitely possible, but you would kind of have to win where it's scored out of 10 and the winner of the round gets a 10 no matter what. So even if it's as boring of a fight as the Lewis and Ngannou fight, one of them was still getting scored at 10, even though they didn't even throw 10 punches.
Yeah.
So, but that could totally happen. So if it just so happened that Shogun Rua he received an 8 instead of a 9 for his first round, and then he came back and got Paul Craig, and so he got a 10, Paul got a 9. Then the next round he got a 10 and Paul got a 9. Then the scores are going to be even. So it's totally possible. Then you have some people out there who's like, how is that possible? Blah 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 blah. But it's just simple numbers.
Oh yeah.
So, but it would have to be a thing where you did not give one of them. Like each person did not get a 9. The loser of the round did not get a 9 each round. Like you had to get an 8.
Yeah, to the people hollering robbery for these fights, let's talk about real robbery. Like Yoel Romero versus Robert Whitaker 2. That's real robbery right there. You know what I'm saying?
We have a lot of robbery in the UFC. I don't think this was a robbery.
No. There's a lot of like real robbery fights.
Especially when he was getting
Yoel Romero versus Paulo Costa.
That was robbery. Like Yoel Romero is being robbed.
Yeah.
So, I hate it. I hate that you have some people that don't understand that this was actually a fair draw.
Oh yeah.
So, well, what do you think's next for him?
I'm not sure. I know Paul Craig's like an up and comer, but he's not ranked. So
then
I think he'll probably get another opponent. This was Paul Craig's first ranked opponent, I think. Shogun Rua is ranked number 14th. Maybe Paul Craig still gets a number 15th ranked opponent. Shogun Rua. This was his hard
because you didn't win or lose.
Yeah,
so
this was in his
home
home country.
Yeah.
So he actually said that he has 2 fights left, this being one of the 2, and he says that he's retiring after that.
Oh, after his next fight.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just kind of said he wants to focus on his family and stuff. So he said that he wouldn't guarantee that he wouldn't retire after this one. So he said, I'm going into this fight as it's my last.
Oh, wow.
So
this might be it for him.
This might be it for him. I mean, Shogun Rua is a legend to the sport. He recently got that Hall of Fame jacket for one of his fights. I can't remember which fight, but one of his fights got inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame. Or he's going to be a UFC Hall of Famer as himself once he retires.
Yeah.
But I don't really know what's next for those guys.
Yeah. Well, moving on, we had Charles Oliveira versus Jared Gordon. You want to get into this one?
Yeah. So
this was an insane. You would not have expected the outcome of this.
Yeah,
fight.
Charles Oliveira. This was a big win for him. He made a statement.
Because he's a submission artist.
Yeah, he's a submission artist. He was on a 6-fight win streak. And he ended up coming out there and knocking out Jared Gordon in it was a minute and some change.
Oh, it was insane. Yeah. He deserved to celebrate how he did.
Yeah, and he said he was going to call out somebody, and this is what I didn't like. He said, I never call out people. I'm pretty respectable. But he said, I'm going to, and then once he called out somebody, he ended up calling out Conor McGregor.
No, that was dumb.
This is so played out. Everybody wants to call out Conor McGregor. Why do you want to call out Conor McGregor? He's
above you.
Yeah, but
you ain't even close to him.
Yeah, but you're like Charles Oliveira is. He's fighting all the time. He's fighting all these.
Big. Yeah,
he's fighting he's working his way up the ranks. Like Conor McGregor, his last fight was against Khabib. What, a year and a half ago?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Maybe even 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And then before that, he lost to Floyd Mayweather. Like, why? I don't understand why people keep calling him out. Like he's that. Like he has the title.
I know, but people, he's a big name.
But you got to have another decent name to sell.
And that's the thing.
Yeah,
Charles Oliveira is not that big name. He might be eventually.
Yeah.
But right now, he's not that big name. And it's like, know your place. You're a great fighter. You're calling out someone who It sucks because he's not keeping his name up.
Yeah.
Like, it's like McGregor built a name for himself and then just went ghost.
Yeah.
So, but you're calling out that guy.
I think he kind of knew too.
He kind of knew he sounded stupid.
Yeah, because at the end of the interview, he was like, "Oh, but I'll also fight Paul Felder, who I lost to before my 6-fight win streak." And I was like, "Yeah, that's better,
that's a
man."
fair, yeah, like that's a fair call out. Like,
you should have called him out first. Because Paul Felder, I think he might be in the top 10 lightweight. I don't think so, but he might be like right at that 12. So that's still a good way to keep working your way up the ladder.
But it's like, know your place, and like that says a lot. Like Masvidal wanting to fight
Damian Maia.
Yeah, Damian Maia, if he gets the belt. He wants to be Maia's last fight. And it's like, that says a lot. So, it's like, know your place. So,
speaking of Masvidal, you gonna get into our next topic?
Oh, that was a good transition. Okay, so moving on with that smooth transition, we have Nick Diaz. We talked about this on the last podcast. What was he going to say on ESPN? What was he going to get off of his chest? And so we've got that video here. We're going to play it for you guys. And just for anybody who has not watched it yet. So.
About baptizing someone's younger brother. That's my baby brother. You don't talk like that to nobody. Who rides on whose side? And, that's what I'm saying. Like, you want to say that? You want to do that? You want to walk? That's on you. And I understand, you got, who knows, ups and downs in life too. Oh, I can relate to you. That's why I ain't mad at you. But it's like, if you want to walk, that's on you. I've been summoned for the most part.
Here's Masvidal's response.
Is he asking to fight? I was confused. Or we're going for a walk?
He's asking for a fight.
He's asking for a fight.
Yeah, that's right, because you threatened to baptize his little brother.
He's asking for a fight or to go for a walk?
He's asking for a fight.
Does he know who he's asking for a fight?
No.
Because I love the fight, especially when I get a little something on top of that.
Wait, who is asking for a fight?
Dude, I love it. UFC's back, man. I mean, it's been back. It's been exciting for a while, but
now it's back.
I mean, we're talking Nick Diaz been out of the fight game for 5 years. He sees Masvidal. He sees Masvidal as making waves in the UFC. Masvidal's arguably the top dog in the UFC right now.
He is.
And you bring Nick Diaz out. Nick Diaz wants to fight you now, man.
Now, my question is, do you really think Nick Diaz deserves that fight right now? Because this is more like a schoolyard fight. Like, you made me mad. You picked on my brother. I'm gonna fight you. But in the UFC, we're talking about rankings. Nick Diaz is about to. Masvidal. He's about to get a fight for a belt. Do you think Nick Diaz deserves to come in after 5 years off and get a belt? Like, I get it. You want to fight this guy because of beef. Like, this is purely beef. But as far as fighting on the UFC stage and making hundreds of thousands of dollars, do you really think that should happen?
Dude, like...
As far as drama goes... Now, if we were talking WWE, of course. But, like, UFC, now what's your thoughts?
Yeah, Masvidal has made it known he's about that paper, man. He said... Whatever brings the most zeros, if it's not a title shot, if it brings more zeros than a title shot, I'm taking that. You know what I'm saying? So, I think Masvidal's in a great place, man. You just made buco money for fighting Nate Diaz. You can turn around and fight his brother for arguably even more money.
You probably would.
And then let's say you beat him, then you get a title shot, more money.
Yeah, like I don't really disagree with you.
Because look, so... Colby Covington and Usman are fighting for the title December 14th. I think that's going to be, depending on how it goes, let's just say they get heavy suspensions. Maybe they get like 180-day medical suspensions from the fight, 90-day suspension. So that's 90 days that they can't train pretty much. They got to heal. You know what I'm saying? They get these medical suspensions out of the fight. Well, let's say Masvidal, wants to, let's say him and Nick Diaz go in February or March, and then Masvidal wins, you turn around and fight for a title during the summer.
It's
I mean,
possible,
yeah.
but now I could see them doing this because stuff like this brings money. Like this brings big money. So I could totally see the UFC doing something like this. Is saying, okay, if Masvidal's cool with it, because then you're putting like family beef out there. People are gonna tune in.
Dude, I love this.
Oh yeah, ever since like. It's funny. I never would have been like a huge Masvidal fan without Askren. Like everybody hyped Askren up when Masvidal fought him. I was like, I hope Masvidal wins. Like I want that dude to win because I hate Askren. And ever since that, and best knockout in UFC history, it's he's been making a name for himself. So I want to see this dude climb to the top. If he fights Nick Diaz, I want to see him kick his ass. then if he fights for a belt, I want to see him kick that dude's ass, whoever it may be at the time. And then I would love to see him fight Maya, redeem himself, and destroy Maya on Maya's last fight out.
Yeah. So this kind of heated up more. So after the interview, Nick Diaz put a post on Instagram, and he's like, "Thank you, Ariel Helwani, for bringing me on your show." He was like, I was pretty heated and had a lot to get off my chest. And then he tagged Masvidal, Dana White, and the UFC and said, "Let's make this happen. Let's fight." Masvidal commented on Nick Diaz's post and said, "It would be an honor. I'm in 100%."
Yeah.
So they both verbally agreed to make it happen. I know during the interview, Nick Diaz, he was calling for the fight to be at Cowboys Stadium, which I would love. That I think Cowboys Stadium is the biggest football stadium
that's insane
in the U.S. So you're talking, these guys would sell that out.
Oh, without a doubt.
And like the
Without
Cowboys
a
have that
doubt.
stadium that'll close.
Oh, does it close?
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, have they ever done an open air arena like this?
I don't think so.
Not since they've gotten this big.
I don't think the UFC would just. I know amateur fight promotions have had like fights on the beach and stuff, but you have that sun aspect and stuff. What I'm
so
saying?
now if it closes, they'll definitely say we want the thing shut.
Yeah. So I love his idea. I know Conor McGregor called for a fight in Cowboys Stadium a while back. I'm not a Cowboys fan, but I think that would be awesome to have it in a freaking football stadium.
Dude, that'd be awesome. And then if McGregor came back for a fight that night too, like, oh my God, dude, that would be one of the best fight nights.
And I actually
ever.
like what Masvidal pitched an idea on Twitter too. He said, all right, so Masvidal and Dustin Poirier both are on the same training team. They train at American Top Team. He was like, all right, American Top Team versus Nick Diaz Army. Let's do me and Nick Diaz main event, co-main event, Dustin Poirier, Nate Diaz.
Ooh.
American Top Team versus Nick Diaz Army. I love the idea, man.
Versus the Diaz Army?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that idea.
That'd be awesome, man.
I feel like Dustin Poirier and
what
Nate.
if we did McGregor and Diaz? I mean, it wouldn't be American Top Team, but it'd be bringing the Diaz brothers out.
Yeah, well, see, I don't know. I know they've both said they wouldn't fight on the same card just because they want to have that support for each other while they're fighting. So I don't know, but dude, this is very exciting what's going on, and
anything could happen.
I hope Dana listens. I know they did some polls on Ariel Helwani and stuff of who George Masvidal should fight next, and thousands of people said Nick Diaz. So this is what the fans want to see. I feel like UFC is becoming more of, obviously it's the best fighters in the world. Now the best fighters in the world are in the UFC, but they're making more fights for the fans. They're making these super fights, which there's nothing wrong with that.
No, well, dude, super fights are the best fights.
Yeah.
Like really true. That's how they're called super fights because they're insane. Like this BMF fight, that's a hell of a fight.
And I mean,
man.
let's not forget, like, Nick Diaz was a Strikeforce welterweight champion. He came in the UFC. He was one of the best at welterweight, and then he went and fought at 185. The only people he lost to really was GSP, arguably the greatest martial artist of all time. And I mean, he had more losses than this, but this was like, I mean, the people he's losing to were like the big dogs at the time. Like he lost to Anderson Silva and GSP.
Yeah. And so, I mean, Nick Diaz is a great fighter. But if he fights Masvidal, then I hope it goes for Masvidal, but I also see it going for Masvidal as well.
I mean, listen to that interview. Like, you could tell Diaz, because they asked Diaz, like, how did you feel being cage side and watching that fight, and he was like, did you agree with it being stopped? And he said, no, I didn't like agree with it being stopped, but I'm glad it was stopped because I didn't. He was like, you think it's okay? I'm sitting there okay watching my brother get kicked in the face.
So he was aware of like,
yeah,
Nate Diaz wasn't like killing it.
Yeah. So he was like, you think I'm sitting over there okay, like fine with my brother, sitting there watching my brother get kicked in the face. He was like, my brother's got to learn the hard way. He was like, which we've known that's how Nate Diaz, that same exact kick that Nate Diaz got set up with. That's how he got knocked out against Josh Thompson.
Oh yeah.
Well, not knocked out, but TKO'd. I mean, Nate Diaz isn't. I'm never gonna see him get knocked out unconscious. I just don't think that's him. He's never gonna quit. Like the ref's gonna have to stop it. He's not gonna go away.
No. Well, then this brings controversy because it's like, does Nate Diaz want Nick Diaz to fight his battles?
Yeah. See, that's where I'm at. Obviously, it's known that I'm really big Nate Diaz fan. Obviously, I'm a Nick Diaz fan. That's his brother. But Nate Diaz is my number one guy. So, I mean, if Nate's cool with this, then I think it's cool.
Yeah.
But if Nate's not cool with this behind the scenes and he doesn't want Nick to fight his own battle, that Masvidal rematch is still there. Maybe Nate needs to fight Conor first, then call out Masvidal again.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know what I'm saying?
Like I don't think it's going to be an immediate rematch.
But if Nate's cool with this, I'm saying let's go. I mean, I love the story.
That would kind of be embarrassing though if your brother came out and fought your battle.
I mean, it's still a good story.
It's a good money maker, but that's it.
If he goes out there and beats Masvidal, taking up for little brother, then if he beats him, then that might set up another fight with Nate Diaz versus Masvidal.
I don't know.
And then maybe we see, let's say Nate could beat him, then maybe we see it, because I think this has created a rivalry between Masvidal and the Diaz brothers. This is definitely a rivalry now. Like Diaz, McGregor. They are rivals.
Dude, Masvidal, he's going to be the guy to say, oh, you want to go on a walk? I'll walk you to the graveyard and baptize you too. Or I'll walk you to the church and baptize you too.
Like, obviously I'm Diaz fans, but when Masvidal was like, does he want to fight or he wants to go on a walk? Like, dude, I kind of lost it because I was like, that's pretty funny.
Yeah,
man.
like... So, well, I'm so excited to see what comes out of this.
It was cool, too, because right after Diaz did that interview, Masvidal put on Instagram, you know how Masvidal came out, he likes Scarface. Yeah, so he made a cartoon of himself as Scarface for his response to what Nick Diaz said. And he was like Scarface, and he turned around, and he said, F the Diaz brothers. And then the video ended. So that was his initial response.
Oh, wow.
So I think they're rivals now. And this is the rivalry that the UFC needed.
Yeah, dude. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Because other rivalries, people are getting old. They're not fighting anymore. Or they're like McGregor. They're not coming back. So
yeah,
it's getting old. So
hey, I love this. Dana,
I do too, man.
Make this happen.
Yeah.
2020, we need this.
Yeah.
Cowboys Stadium. I don't care if it's Cowboys Stadium.
Dude, that would be awesome. Cowboys Stadium. Even if you brought McGregor back for that, dude, that would be insane. Like if you had McGregor versus Diaz, and then Nick Diaz versus Masvidal at Cowboy Stadium, whoo, that would be insane.
People's literally laying out cash for Dana. He just needs to take it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I'm stoked to see what comes out of this. It could be anything. So, well, let's move on. So we've got Stipe Miocic, and he tells ESPN he's not interested in a third fight with DC. Now, he claims he wants to face Tyson Fury in boxing. Now, the reason why is he says he beat DC decisively. Now, what do you think on this, Marcus?
I just can't believe he sat there and said he beat DC decisively. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, DC starched you in the first round of that first fight. That's decisively. Yeah. In the second fight, DC was beating you every single round. What did it end in the third round? The end of the third round.
The second round, actually.
I think it was the third.
Oh, because it was 5 rounds. Yeah, you're right. It was the third round then.
So DC was beating him decisively using his word First round DC, second round DC, third round all the way up until the knockout DC.
I don't think so, man. Because like Stipe,
No, that's legit
first
how
round
it was
was
scored.
DC.
No, that's how legit how
That's
it was
how it was
scored.
scored. But like in the second round, we saw Masvidal. I mean, we saw Miocic coming back, and he was like still giving it to DC. And yeah, he might have lost on the scorecard, but he wasn't taking it. Like he wasn't losing. He was still fighting. Now the third round is when we saw Miocic climbing up that ladder, and like he was giving it.
Yeah, and I mean he kept hitting him with those body shots in the third round. DC got away from his game, and I mean everybody know that. We knew that he took Stipe down 2 times, dude. Stipe couldn't. He wasn't really responding well to DC's wrestling. DC is a Olympic wrestler, anyways. You know what I'm saying? So DC admitted after that he went away from his game plan. He went away from what his coaches was saying. But I truly stand by that if DC would have kept to doing what he was doing, he would have won that fight.
And you know, he might be saying this just to make DC mad.
I think
because we've seen fighters do that in the past. Like they're calling out someone else and they're like, no, that dude ain't good enough. They're saying that just to get that happening. And so this might make DC mad enough to come back. Like this might be.
Oh no, he wants
it.
Like, he tweeted at Stipe after Stipe said this and was like, "Come on, Stipe, please." Like
that's what I'm saying.
Being,
being dumb.
Well, no, he wants it.
No,
but
but just being
he
like
wasn't
silly.
really begging to Stipe. Yeah. He was just, come on, man, please."
And
then on Stipe Miocic's part, dude, you're not dominating the heavy. When people get like fights like McGregor got with Floyd Mayweather, you have to literally like be dominating at that point and be like this humongous name. That's not dude, not like Stipe a lot, but this is kind of messed up.
It's not.
He was
right.
normally like a respectable guy and stuff, but he knows, man. Like you have to, if you want super fights like this, you got to beat everybody. Like I don't think Stipe would beat Ngannou. I mean, I already know he already did. I don't think he beats the Ngannou right now.
No. Well, I don't think he could beat Tyson Fury.
No, dude, he would get starched. That's what I don't understand.
He would get killed by the
and you want to face him in boxing? No. He would get starched.
Yeah.
And then Tyson Fury, they're talking. Tyson Fury said, "Yeah, let's fight in boxing, and then I'm going to come to the UFC and fight you." Tyson Fury said he wants to come to the UFC in 2021. Yeah. I think if Stipe didn't take him to the ground, Tyson Fury starches him in MMA. If there was no ground.
Yeah. Even then, I don't see Stipe beating Fury.
Yeah.
Like that's I don't think so, man. Well,
like we're talking Tyson Fury, even when he was up to like 300 and some pounds, all depressed and stuff, and all that he had going on, dude, he was still moving. Like he did training videos on his way back. He's sitting here 380 pounds.
Yeah.
Still, you couldn't touch him. You couldn't punch him. He's one of the best like defensive boxers I've ever seen. I've never seen head movement like Tyson Fury has.
Well, like I said, I think Miocic did this just to get that DC fight jump started. Like that was just that spark that it needed.
Oh, and this is, I mean, DC versus Stipe is going to happen. Dana said it. At the end of the day, they'll end up putting pressure on Stipe to accept the fight.
Yeah.
Dana will.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll see it happen March,
maybe.
April.
That wouldn't be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Dana White, we've got him here in the news. He's changing his tone on the Israel Adesanya versus Yoel Romero fight.
Good move,
a week
Dana.
ago. Yeah, it was a great move. A week ago, he acted like he did not want to make this fight happen, but now he has changed. He's changed his meter on it, and he wants to make it work. And so they're all trying to figure out the logistics of it. But what's your thoughts on this?
Well, last week Dana said that he was like, we're going to book a fight for Yoel Romero to face somebody, and it will be a number one contender fight, because he was like, I don't feel comfortable giving Yoel Romero the fight after coming off of 2 or 3 losses. Yeah. I think 2 losses for Romero. Yeah, he's come off 2 losses. I think like
3, man.
Yeah, but I mean, arguably he beat Whitaker and he beat Costa.
It's arguable, but he lost.
Yeah, but like we've always said, or like I've always said, Yoel Romero is one of those guys that the champion doesn't want to face him. Whatever champion at the time. He's always going to be one fight away from a title. Dude,
Yeah.
he's 43 years old. He's
does
awesome.
Adesanya want this fight?
Yeah, Adesanya's the one that changed Dana's mind. Adesanya's like, all people's trying to tell me, Robert, I went out there and knocked out Robert. Now people's acting like I can't beat this monster, Yoel Romero. He was like, I want the killers in the division. And I respect that, man. Like,
You do want the killers because that's a bigger name for you.
and I respect that. And dude, literally, like, Michael Bisping, when he was champion, avoided Yoel Romero at all costs.
Yeah.
He wanted to fight Luke Rockhold and all these other guys. People usually avoid Yoel Romero. And the fact, I respect Adesanya, and I've listened to a couple of podcasts that he had been on like last week. I like him, man. Like,
I do too.
I like him. I hope Yoel Romero beats him, but if let's say Romero,
I want Adesanya.
let's
to
say
win.
Romero doesn't, I kind of like Adesanya now. He's a good champion. I respect him. He's wanting to beat the best to show he's the best.
Yeah, and I agree with that mentality completely. And I love that we're getting more people in there like that.
Yeah, and Dana said that this is the fight to make now, and he's currently working on it. Which we've said this. We looked at the rankings. We sit there and looked at the rankings. Darren Till, you can't give him a title fight yet.
Not
He
yet.
just got in the middleweight division. So in our next topic that we'll talk about in a few minutes, he's going to be fighting Robert Whitaker. That's what he needed. Possibly, yeah. So that's what he needed.
Yeah.
But Israel Adesanya, he has made it known that he wants to stay active. He wants to be an active champion.
Which is good. I agree with that completely.
I don't know if you've seen him and John Jones go back and forth, but John Jones, he's one of those guys that's not fighting too frequently.
It's like once a year.
He fights more frequently than some champions, but
Like Whitaker never fought. Whitaker fought as much as the UFC contract made him fight.
Oh, dude, yeah, he was giving us one fight maybe a year,
Maybe one fight a year. Jones, you'll see him like 3 times in 2 years. So like you ain't gonna see him a lot, but a little more than Whitaker.
But Adesanya was active this year, man. Like, he won the interim title against Gastelum, made a quick turnaround, come and beat Whitaker. Like, he said that he wants to be an active champion, and I respect that.
Oh, I do too, because then your momentum's up. Like you're crushing it, you're killing it.
Like Masvidal, that momentum will carry you somewhere.
Oh yeah. And so like if Masvidal right now took 3 years off, he would not come back and be the same Masvidal.
Yeah.
So you got to respect that, and I'm excited. I'm excited for this fight. Yo, what if we had the Cowboy Stadium, Adesanya, Romero
as the headliners,
Nick Diaz, Masvidal, Nate Diaz, McGregor, like, and it was that stacked. And then we still had more names.
Yeah.
Like we still had Miocic and DC all in that card. It's like every fight deserves to be the main event.
See,
that would be insane.
That's what I'm saying. Dana, the cash is there. Like, the UFC has never been bigger.
Oh,
there has never been more stars in the UFC than there is right now.
If they did all of that in one night at the Cowboy Stadium, it's done. It's donezo, man. Like, that would be the best card of UFC history.
Yeah.
So oh my God, could you imagine? Oh my God, that would be hype.
It would be
so. Oh man, so we've got Romero and Adesanya, and I'm excited with all that, and I agree that Till does not deserve it, but Till might deserve it if he wins this next potential fight.
Yep.
So Darren Till's next potential fight is Robert Whitaker, and so I guess we've got Robert Whitaker wanting to keep it up in the UFC. I think he wants his title back, and so we've never seen him have a turnaround this quick when he had the belt.
All you got to now is
now you got to now you got to realize what you got to do to get that belt back. So he's got a quick turnaround trying to fight Darren Till, and if Darren Till wins, maybe he does deserve that title shot, because who else would it be if Adesanya beats Romero and Till beats Whitaker? Who else should fight Adesanya? I think it should be Till.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying. Like, Till just got in the middleweight division. I felt like he needed more fights under his belt. This isn't official yet. Robert Whitaker and Darren Till verbally agreed to fight each other in Darren Till's backyard in London on Twitter.
Yeah, so. But it's verbal. Has the UFC responded?
No, they haven't. But I think that's the fight to make.
Yeah. I honestly agree with you. I don't think Darren Till deserves Romero or Adesanya
Darren
right
Till
now.
doesn't want Romero.
No, but like I don't think.
If you're getting knocked by Tyron Woodley, I don't
Yeah.
think you want Romero's punches.
No, I don't think he deserves either one of them right now. But if he beats Whitaker, then I think he deserves the champion.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
if he beats Whitaker, he's there. Yeah.
And then if Whitaker wins, then it's redemption for him, and maybe he can get the champion.
Yeah.
Which I think if Whitaker
good fight.
fights Adesanya again, we're going to see a different kind of Whitaker because he's hungry. He wants that belt back. I still don't think he'll win because Adesanya is a great fighter.
Well, Whitaker's he was naturally like a 170-pound fighter. He fought in the welterweight division for a long time. I don't think he never got like a title shot, or he might have got a title shot, but he wasn't very successful. And then he ended up moving up to 185, and he was being more successful. But I still think he is a little bit smaller than some of these guys.
I still don't think he deserves. I mean, I don't think he could beat Adesanya, even if he's trying to get the belt back. Because we see this every day. It's like clockwork. It's right out of a textbook. It happens every single year when someone loses their belt. They come back a different style of a fighter. They come back hungry.
Yeah.
They want it, and they'll fight quick. We've never seen Robert Whitaker have this quick of a turnaround when he had the belt.
Yeah.
And so now we're seeing him try to fight soon so he can get that belt back. But I think with that hunger and that drive, he still isn't going to beat Israel Adesanya.
Yeah, it's tough. Adesanya's a tough fight.
Yeah, exactly. So then Darren Till, I agree with you. He might not want Romero because Woodley was stunning him.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like you take Woodley's power times 2 or 3 for Romero. That's
yeah, like Romero's like Romero's jacked, man, and he's crazy.
Yeah,
like crazy jacked people are people you don't want to fight.
He'll knock you out then kiss you.
Yeah,
ask Luke Rockhold.
Oh man, yeah. Then we got Tyron Woodley in the news.
I'm glad to see Woodley back, man.
I am too. So let's get into this.
So Woodley did the same ESPN podcast with Ariel Helwani that Stipe and Nick Diaz did.
And Masvidal.
Yeah, and Masvidal also, all these guys. It's good. I like how Ariel Helwani does that. It kind of gives us news to what's going on with
in their mind, too.
In their mind. So Woodley told Ariel Helwani, claims he's in pre-training camp right now. And Ariel was like, "Oh, so you're in pre-training camp, so you have a fight?" And Woodley said, "I don't have an opponent, but I'm fighting in January." And it was kind of funny because he kind of disrespected Leon Edwards, but Ariel was like, "So you're fighting Leon Edwards?" And he was like, "That's the only fight really that makes sense." And Woodley was like, "No, I don't have a name now," but he was like, "Let me tell you something." He was like, "Leon Edwards is a very good fighter. He's a very good martial artist. But here's the sad part." He was like, "My kids play UFC all the time. They play that UFC game." And he was like, "When my name started getting mentioned with Leon Edwards, my kids did not even know who he was." And I was like, "Dag, he just did that man like that." Like Leon Edwards, he's a legit welterweight.
Dang, man.
Yeah.
He just dug.
Yeah.
Like, that is embarrassing.
He was like, "My kids play that game. They know everybody in every single weight class on that game, and they did not know who he was."
Ooh, that's hard, man.
But he said he's hungry. He said he wants to get that belt back. So who do you think Leon Edwards is next? Who do you think Woodley's going to end up fighting?
Maybe. Well, see, I don't know, man. It could go anywhere right now. Woodley wants his belt back. So I think Woodley, I don't think he would care to fight someone who's 15th ranked if it meant he's going to get his belt back.
You know what I think he's doing? I think he said he's in pre-fight training camp. You know what I think he's doing? I think he's training to make weight. I think he's training to make weight in case something happens to Colby Covington or Usman on December 14th. I think he's going to try to be walking around at a weight he can fight at. I think he's in like a pre-training camp right now. Really, he's in like a training camp.
In case something happens,
which that's what you got to do if you want your belt back bad. I could see Colby Covington the week of fight week maybe getting out with some type of petty injury or something.
It is Covington.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah.
Cause it's legit now. His funny because Usman's nickname is what, the Nightmare Kamaru, the Nightmare Usman or something. So his nickname is the Nightmare. So Colby Covington's nightmares are gonna come true soon. So, but
yeah. So I mean,
I think he's staying ready. I think he's staying ready
bad.
for.
That's
to
not
make
a bad
weight for
idea.
that.
Like that's not a bad theory on what he's doing.
And Usman's not completely healthy. I don't feel like Usman's healthy. That's why when we get down to that fight, I really don't know how it's going to go for Usman. I don't feel like he's healthy from that injury. He just had surgery after the Woodley fight.
So he might not. Then
I don't think he's completely healthy.
Then we'd have Woodley and Covington.
That's what I want to see. Two former teammates. They hate each other.
Yeah, that would not be bad, man.
There's a beef between Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington, but the beef between Tyron Woodley and Colby Covington is legit. They really hate each other.
Yeah.
They're not doing it just because they're fighting. They literally hate each other.
Yeah.
Like Kamaru Usman and Colby.
It's kind of like we're fighting.
They hate each other because they're fighting.
Yeah. But not like you have real beef.
Like him and Woodley have real beef. Like he's spoken some personal stuff about Tyron Woodley. Like, you know.
Yeah. He does that with
former
everybody.
teammates. Yeah.
So that would not be a bad fight to watch. Yeah. I mean that's not a bad theory either. So if he doesn't fight in December, it might be Leon Edwards in January.
Yeah.
Or February maybe. But
yeah, I think it's got to be Leon Edwards.
I don't know who else it could be.
Leon, yeah, everybody else is kind of booked up. But Leon deserves a contender. Kind of sucks that Tyron Woodley's still number one contender and he's going to have to fight Leon Edwards. But
I mean, who else do you really fight? Because you're not going to turn around and get a title.
I wanted him to fight Masvidal. I don't understand why Woodley hasn't called out Masvidal. I think it's because him and Masvidal, they're not friends. He's made it known that they're not friends, but they're both sponsored by this CBD company, so him and Masvidal are once they have to do like stuff for that sponsorship, like different commercials and stuff.
Oh, like the Toyo tires, and
they've had to do stuff together, and I don't know. But he's made it known that he is not rocking with Masvidal because he was like, Ben Askren's one of my best friends. He was like, I wouldn't do that to Ben.
Oh, and take his fight for him.
No, he was saying, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm cool with Masvidal.
Then it would be a good fight.
He doesn't have beef with Masvidal, but he's like, I'm not going to sit here and let them make fun of Ben or something.
Mm-hmm.
He was saying that one day they started talking about Ben Askren and he walked away. He was like, I don't want to be a part of it. But this was at his sponsorship that they're both, that CBD company they're both with. So I want to see Tyron Woodley fight again, man. It's been a minute.
It might be Masvidal, because if Masvidal fights him, then
yeah, I'm a Masvidal's got a guaranteed title shot right now. So.
Yeah. Dude, I'm excited for that whole Masvidal and Nick and anything that can come out of that. That's insane. So then last but not least, we've got John Bone Jones. Is it the Bone?
I think it's Bones.
Bone. Yeah. John Bones Jones. It didn't sound right when it came off my tongue the first time.
So I mean, we've been hitting that this was coming, but now it's being reported that it is in the works. John Jones versus Dominic Reyes in the works for UFC 247 in Texas.
Yeah.
Not at Cowboy Stadium, but I forgot where it was in Texas. Somewhere
in the Lone Star State.
But I mean, I understand him and Corey Anderson, and we're right there, but I just felt like it should have went to Corey Anderson. And as I got written on here, too, like Corey Anderson stated in an interview that John Jones is taking the easy way out. I agree with Corey, because Corey proved that he is more than a one-dimensional fighter in that last fight. Corey has always been known as a wrestler. He went out there and knocked out one of the best strikers in Johnny Walker. He's an up-and-comer, but I feel like he was a great
striker.
He was one of the best strikers in that light heavyweight division, and he went out there and TKO'd Johnny Walker. I think that's a tough task to do.
Yeah.
And he's got the wrestling background. Corey, Dominic Reyes is pretty much one-dimensional. He's just a striker, a knockout artist.
Yeah.
So I agree with Corey on that statement. I feel like John Jones is taking the easy way out, and taking that fight with Reyes. But
well, like we said, is okay, Jones, you want to fight Reyes, and you beat him, then what?
Yeah.
Then who's next? Are you gonna finally give it to Anderson?
And I mean, I know John Jones, like, these fights, he's kind of in a division right now where there's not a whole lot of big names. So, like, let's say he beats Dominic Reyes.
Who's next?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Let's say he beats Corey Anderson. Like, I like Corey Anderson, but Corey Anderson's name isn't there yet. So let's say he beats Corey Anderson. Everybody's like, you know, he's making it known that he wants this fight with Israel Adesanya. You know, that's
now. Would he go down a weight class?
No, Adesanya would come up. Or they would do like a catch weight or something, which UFC usually doesn't do catch weights, but I think Adesanya claims that he walks around at like...
Because you're always at a disadvantage.
I think Adesanya claimed on this podcast I was listening to, he walks around at like 205, 208. So obviously, but he stated that he wants to fight John Jones. He said that John Jones is the fight to make, but he said that he wants to do it right. He said he doesn't want to fight John until 2021, which I agree. He said he wants to clean out the middleweight division.
That wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, he wants to clean out that division first and then fight John. But John's been going at him pretty hard on Twitter. They've been going back and forth. Adesanya's into like Naruto and different anime. John Jones is like calling him a nerd and this and that. So
no, who cares?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, we're all nerds, man. Like, I like WWE. I like Telltale video games.
We've got a podcast, man. We are some nerds.
Yeah, we got a podcast that...
I've got a technology degree. Like, we are nerds, man. But, so, like we're all nerds.
I like how Adesanya responded. He was like, you know what? This was on Joe Rogan's podcast. He was like, John's a fan. He was like, John's a fan of me. He was like, John... he sees what I'm doing. He's not getting attention no more. There's not big fights for him. He was like, he's a fan of mine. And I was like...
Damn, that's a funny way to say... Like, that's a good reply.
Yeah.
You gotta love Adesanya.
Yeah.
And it's like, you just got Jones who's talking crap.
And I want to see that fight between them, but I also agree with Adesanya. I don't want it to happen until he gets that experience under his belt. Which Adesanya's 30, I think, and Jones is... 33 or something like that. But
that would honestly be a great fight. I am worried about Adesanya going up to that weight class.
Yeah, I think that's tough, and that's why I agree with him, like, taking his time, clearing out the middleweight division, making himself more of a case for how great he is.
Oh yeah, because if he's clearing out everybody, man.
That's what I'm saying. If you beat
Romero.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just going. And, like, your list is just getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Then you're the Jones of your weight class.
Yeah.
Then who else do you fight, man? You go up a weight class, fight Jones. Or Jones could come down. Or
he actually hinted Joe Rogan asked him what he thought about that BMF belt. And he was like, I might have to see what's up with Masvidal. He was like, I don't like, he was like, my ego's kind of kicking in about that BMF. I guess he may be saying they could do like a catch weight at 180.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, like meet in the middle?
Yeah. Like
that wouldn't be bad.
Like Masvidal gain 10 pounds and Adesanya do like a 5-pound
cut.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be bad.
Yeah.
I think a catch weight's fair. If, like, you're not trying to, like, go to that division, you're just trying to fight that fighter. Catch weights are fair.
I don't want to see that, though. I think that's too much for Masvidal because he already
Masvidal.
He was 155. I'm not saying he couldn't.
He's a smaller dude.
I'm not saying he couldn't hang with Adesanya, but
I just don't think it's like, as far as weight goes, a good fight.
I think weight does matter in the UFC.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
it
weight
matters when people actually know how to fight and know what to do. It matters.
Yeah, and you know, I think a better fight for Adesanya is the Jones fight.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna fight outside of your weight class just to fight somebody, not to go to that weight class. Like, you're not trying to go to light heavyweight. You're just trying to fight Jones. So then you could do a catch weight.
Yeah, if Jones beats Dominic Reyes
and Corey Anderson,
he needs to move up to heavyweight already.
Now,
the heavyweight fights, that's what's gonna do some stuff on his resume. He already said he would fight Ngannou. That's what I'm talking about. If you beat Ngannou, you go up there, you beat Stipe. Then you can be considered. Then maybe people will look past what you have done in the past. I'm not. But
it's like, now if you if you fight Ngannou and you put him you put him on his ass, He's a big dude.
Oh, I mean, that's impressive, steroids or not, if you can put Ngannou.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people in the world that could juice up to the gills with steroids and not be able to knock Ngannou down.
Yeah, so it's like if Jones went up and he took Ngannou out, you could look past what all he's done and then start calling him the GOAT.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm excited to see where any of this could go, man.
Yeah.
Right now, it's a different UFC than what we saw like several months back. Now we're looking at a UFC that is extremely dynamic. Anything could happen, and I'm excited to be part of it all.
Yeah, just a bunch of stars. What's the word for it? Is it star-studded or something like that?
Starstruck?
I don't know.
That's what
there's
you say
a lot
if
of
you see a
stars.
star. Yeah, man. Yeah, there's a lot of big names out there.
But unfortunately, well, kind of good too, because we haven't had too good of cards lately. But no fights until December 7th. The next fight will be December 7th, headlined by Alistair Overeem.
Man, that's 3 weeks away.
And Washington, D.C. I feel like it's a much-needed break for the UFC. They've been
going 100%.
Been putting on a lot of cards, yeah.
And we've started to see the card quality drop too.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a good thing we're taking an off week for a few weeks.
Yeah, and I mean, when it picks back up, the DC card's all right, but then it'll go right into December 14th.
That's a good card.
That's what I'm talking about, yeah.
Yep. Well, guys, it's I guess we can't make predictions on anything. We have 3 weeks until our next fight.
Yeah.
So, well, I guess
we'll just make predictions on
December 1st.
Yeah.
December 1st. We'll see you there, guys.
Yep. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, we're on YouTube, Spotify. We got our Facebook page, the Fight Bros Podcast. Keep checking us out. We thank all our listeners.
Yeah, and reach out if you ever want to be on the show.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.